Blizzard has ruined Warcraft 3, and we need to talk about it. In late January of 2020, Blizzard launched Warcraft 3 Reforged, which was supposed to be a remastering of the classic game Warcraft 3. If you're not familiar with Warcraft 3, it is an RTS, which stands for real-time strategy. And if you're not familiar with RTS, well then you're probably a human being. RTS games were always my favorite ones. You would essentially build up an army based on economy, and then you would try and conquer some kind of map. You think of games like StarCraft, also from Blizzard, or you think of games like Age of Empires or Command and Conquer. These were all RTS games, and they were very popular in the late 90s, early 2000s. Warcraft 3 was the third version of the series Warcraft, where Warcraft and Warcraft 2 were kind of similar games where you could play orcs or humans, but Warcraft 3 took it to the next level. Basically, it was a 3D environment with 4 different races. They had heroes, they added items. It was really a great expansion of the series, and it was extremely well received. Just looking up some reviews online, you can see this game was very well received. GameSpot gave it a 9.2 out of 10. Metacritic gave it an 88%. Honest Gamers gave it a 5 out of 5, which, seems like a comprehensive scale for rating games. Within the game, you'd play on various maps, and you could choose one of the 4 races. You could play as humans, which had more caster units. You could play as orcs, which were stronger but slower and had some weaknesses versus magic. You could play as the Night Elves that had all kinds of crazy cool stuff because they were the best race. Or you could play as undead, which no one really did. Looking at career earnings, 0 people in the top 10 played undead, and if we look at World Cyber Games Championships, which was one of the biggest events, only 1 event was won by an undead player. Good for Ted. In fact, looking at the rest of this list, there's only 3 undeads who placed at all, ever, out of 48 players in World Cyber Games history. Seems balanced. But I digress, people love this game. And one person who especially loved this game was this guy. Hey, I know that guy. That's me. If your sideways Corona hat isn't bringing in the ladies, your Warcraft tournament definitely is. But I absolutely loved this game. I started playing back in 04 or so, and I got actually pretty good. I was one of the top 10-ish players in the US, although I was never one of the best few. When I was 15, I got my flight paid to go play a tournament in New York, and it was a blast. I got like backstage pass, I could drink all the Red Bull I could handle, and I got to hang out with the other gamers. I thought I was living the life. In fact, I remember when they gave us the money for our travel stipend, and people were taking that money and playing a gambling game of poker against each other for all of the money. I thought, this is so degenerate. I can't imagine how people would do this. Life comes at you fast. Moving on though, this game was outrageously popular. In fact, the custom game editor for Warcraft 3 is what spawned a massive industry of games known as MOBAs. You might know of the most popular one like League of Legends, the most likely best made one like Dota 2, or the one for noobs known as HOTS. The custom game editor in Warcraft 3, and also StarCraft as well, was amazing. You could take a map and make it whatever you wanted. And actually, I think one of the biggest errors in video game company history was Blizzard seeing how popular Dota was on their platform and then not making the game. In fact, Dota 2, which is the next game of this, is owned by Valve, not Blizzard, despite it being started on Warcraft 3's platform. As the years passed though, people started to wonder when would the next Warcraft game come out. And that makes sense. They had Warcraft, and they had Warcraft 2, and they came with Warcraft 3. People were excited and wanted Warcraft 4. In fact, I spent many years wondering and hoping for when Warcraft 4 would come along. And then the years went by. More and more time passed. 2010 became 2012, became 2014. Before I knew it, I'd totally forgotten about the game at all. I might stop by and play every now and then, but I no longer care what happened to the future of the franchise because, frankly, the game was dying. I actually think that most one-on-one type games will eventually die online because they're not noob friendly. You can't blame your teammate for you fucking up. You have to just accept responsibility and try and improve. If you do blame the other guy, well, you'll never get better, and so you're forced to face your actual mistakes and errors and try and overcome them. Why would you want to do that when you can just blame the guy guarding B? But this, my friends, is where our story takes a turn. Because in 2018, Blizzard decided to make a big move. They were going to remaster Warcraft 3. That's right, we're going to take the game that came out many, many years ago, 2 decades ago in fact, and we're going to make it better. We're going to make it up to speed, we're going to modernize it, and this game is going to be rocking and rolling. To be honest, I was a little bit disappointed when I heard the news. I mean, it's obviously good they're doing something, but I still was always hoping they would make a new game. Regardless, this was definitely something, and in 2018 they promised the game would come out in 2019 and would be ready with a lot of new features. And so everyone got pretty pumped up, which was foolish. This was announced at BlizzCon 2018, which makes it the second most notable thing that happened at BlizzCon 2018.
Just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
No,
As Blizzard was getting Warcraft 3 fans pumped up and ready to go, they were mashing Diablo fans' hopes and dreams by giving them a mobile game for Diablo, which I think nobody wanted. Also, this guy delivering this joke with such a deadpan expression is really quite fantastic. But let's look at the part of BlizzCon we're here for today, which is the announcement of Warcraft 3 Reforged. Let's take a look.
Our amazing Blizzard video team has got you covered. They put together some gameplay footage, and rather than wait, let's see it now. Yeah?
We're too late. This entire city must be purged.
Man, I don't know about you, I'm pretty pumped up after that. I mean, that's like pretty serious business trailer. Everything's looking new and modern. Everyone's excited. We got the audiences cheering. We're ready to go. 2019, let's do it. For those of you who know Blizzard, you'd know that when they say coming 2019, that definitely does not mean early 2019 or mid 2019 or late 2019, which makes perfect sense because they've been accepting pre-orders since the game was announced, and you'd already waited 2 decades. What's one more year? But on that day it did launch in late January 2020. I was at my computer. I was excited. I was ready to rock and roll. I bought this game over a year ago. This is a game I've put so much time into. I worked at WCReplays.com for years. I made audio commentaries. I competed at a high level. I even played in between. I'm the guy they're making this game for, and I was ready to go. But what happened next was one of the worst moments in Blizzard history, because they launched a game that not only removed the ability to play the prior game, but also didn't work. There is a very, very, very long list of problems with the game that launched, and we're gonna get to a lot of them. But my initial issues out of the gate were the game was simply unplayable. If you played multiplayer online, well, you couldn't because they wouldn't find servers. If you played custom games, well, you couldn't because the games wouldn't load on the servers. And if you played the campaign, you could play the first couple of levels, but then it would send some error and put you back in the menu screen. So my initial reactions to the game was that it was not playable. Blizzard did fix a couple of these issues out of the gate, but then so many more issues were present. I'm gonna try and go through the big ones. First off, the old game no longer worked. So even if you wanted to play Classic, you had to download a 30 gigabyte game in order to go back and play the older game. Adding insult to injury, the game didn't even look the same on the new version of the old game. So basically, they wanted to put everyone onto one client, and then in that client, you could play the Reforged version or the Classic version, and the Classic version didn't even look exactly like Classic used to, which is weird. How can you mess that up? Second, the new graphics are absolutely terrible. I can't imagine anyone playing this competitively using them. They're so complex looking that it's hard to differentiate units, and there's something about the shading that makes them unseeable. Basically, you can't really use the new graphics if you play competitively. Here's just a random clip I found on YouTube of someone playing and you see a battle occurring. It's hard to even decipher the difference between these units. Where are they? What are they? They kind of blend together because everything is overly animated. At least in the original version, yes, things were very simple and cartoony, but you could see things quite clearly and you knew what was happening. This is a clip of the classic graphics where you can tell units out fairly easily. They pop out, the shading looks good, there's contrast to the environment. You can tell what these units are easily. I can't imagine any great player using the new graphics. It's hard to even imagine any good ones doing it. I imagine that's one of the reasons why one of the biggest channels for Warcraft 3 content, Back to Warcraft, where you can watch some of the top players duke it out, I imagine that's one of the reasons they went back to the classic graphics. But the other is the next problem with the game. I'm March 15th, Back to Warcraft tweeted, from today on, we force every streamer to use classic graphics in Back to Warcraft operated tournaments. Yesterday proved that Warcraft 3 new graphics is indeed the cause for desyncs, so we can no longer risk the integrity of our tournaments. That's right, the new game causes desyncs, so games will just crash randomly in the middle of the game. So we can't jeopardize playing high competitive matches by playing the game. But it's not just the desyncs that are causing issues. If you play on a set region on the game, well, that doesn't mean the server you get's going to be in that region. 2 random players on a random server. Great. This means that sometimes players have to play with absurdly high ping, which in a competitive game is just simply unacceptable. Maybe it's a little less bad in Warcraft 3 than in some other games, but it's still bad and it's still going to be a huge advantage for one player, and it makes the game unplayable. Now, what some people have recommended is that we put servers in locations, then when you log in, you just play in that server. I like to call this update the Frozen Throne. The next big issue is that online used to have profiles and win-loss records, so you could track your results and you could see things in a nice organized way. You could know how good your opponents are, and you could even know how good you are. But that is not a feature in the new Warcraft 3. If you could look past the desyncs and high ping, maybe you could play, but that's not the only issue when you play online. You see, Blizzard thought that we should get rid of Battle.net. That's right, the thing that everyone loved, where you could have chat rooms with all your friends, you could make clans, you could see your wins and losses, you could have a little profile that everyone could see. Yeah, they got rid of that because I don't know why. Just going through a list of things they got rid of: in Battle.net tournaments, player profiles, chats that aren't just a global chat, player rankings in any fashion, clan support, LAN, name changes, animated 3D portraits, and levels on your account so you can see how good you are compared to everybody else. That might sound like a long list of negatives, but on the positive side, we now have female version of male characters. Eh?
What is this? A mustard stain?
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's also just a bit of a weird thing to be spending time on anyway. Like, there are a chunk of heroes that are women. Is this what we need? We don't need heroes to be bound to gender roles, man. They should be able to be whatever gender they want. Like, a Death Knight should be able to be a chick if she's a Death Knight. Like, that's what all the Death Knights I know are. They can be men and women, man. Yeah. And what about if the priestess of the moon wants to be a priest? That should be cool too, man. She shouldn't have to be a woman. Where's our male? We need gender. We need both genders for every hero in the game. Then we can finally have a good time. The fact that somebody spent days, weeks, months making the female Death Knight instead of a playable ladder system, it hurts. A lot. The community has found a little way around seeing what kind of your rank is. Someone discovered if you put !MR in the chat, gives you a number. It goes from 1500 to 3K, so you can kind of see where you're at. But someone had to discover it. Blizzard didn't even announce it, and even then, it's going to be flawed for a variety of reasons that we've gone through already. The ladder system is so bad that you can't even see your wins and losses. There's no way to know. After 2 decades, there's no way to know. And it's prompting threads like this over on Reddit. Warcraft 3 Reforged record? Where can I go to see my win-loss record? Before, in the Frozen Throne, I remember clicking on your icon or profile and it would drop down all your races with wins and losses in a percentage. Where do I go to see that on Warcraft 3 Reforged? Thanks. A young, excited member of the community, looking to learn and grow. How can he track his wins and losses? That's what the guy wants to know. Let's see what the solution is. Pen and paper. It's the top comment. Because it's true. The guy even responds, what? Like, he thinks he's getting trolled. But this is the reality now. This is the world Warcraft 3 fans live in. And you can't go back to the old world. That one's gone. Just to round out the remaining issues here, and there are plenty to choose from, here are some of the biggest ones. Random team and arranged team are now combined, so when you play on a team, you'll play versus 2 people that are not on a team, or 4 people that are not on a team. Or if you're playing with random people, you play versus a set team. Definitely fair. Blizzard now owns all of the maps you make, so if you have a cool new map you design, guess what? Blizzard's going to be taking that. There's now broken compatibility for many other maps as well, so some maps from the older game don't transfer over to the new one. They didn't fix a lot of the classic errors with Warcraft 3. I think of things like the replay process was pretty bad, but there were things that they could have done to improve the game. Not going to happen this time around. There's also no new gameplay content within the campaign, which some people might have expected and didn't get. There were also many advertisements for the game, which frankly were false advertising, such as new cinematics, voice acting, and high quality animations. Many of these things ended up getting cut entirely when the game was actually launched. And there's also some serious FPS issues where even if you have a strong computer, you may be getting bad FPS. So if I had to sum up Reforged, I would just say, it's bad. Blizzard was taking a lot of heat out of the gate, and so after a few days and things started to settle down just a tad, they took to their forums to post a response. Here's what they said. We've been following the discussions the past couple days and want to thank you for your feedback as well as your support. First off, we want to say we're sorry to those of you who didn't have the experience you wanted, and we'd like to share our plans for what's coming next. Blizzard just pulled a "I'm sorry you feel that way" after launching the lowest rated game of all time. I guess first off, I'm just sorry to say that you didn't get the reception that you wanted. But if there's just one good thing that came out of this. In these trying times, it's so rare that the community rallies together. And Reforged did that. It brought everybody in the world of Warcraft 3, probably bad phrasing, together to fight for something. Because straight up, nobody likes this game. Which is why the community rallied together to downvote this bitch into oblivion. And if you look it up on Metacritic, Warcraft 3 Reforged is the all-time lowest user-rated PC game ever. That's how all-time works. In fact, they downvoted it so hard it got down to 0.6, and they realized they would never overcome Day 1 Gary's Incident, which sounds like a great game, by the way. And so what they did was they upvoted Gary's Incident so that Reforged alone can hold the #1 spot. Also, another positive, the memes have been beautiful over on the forums. Reforged indeed. Warcraft 3. Clank, clank, clank. Warcraft 3 Reforged. I feel like this one would also work pretty well with the Drake meme. Or this one. The evolution of trash. Story checks out. But you also have to remember, it's just so badass when people stand in front of shit they destroyed. So true. Here's the bottom line. I've waited long enough for this goddamn game. It's been almost 2 decades. And I was one of the most hardcore fans you could find. I loved this game and I loved this series. And then after all of this time, they decided to get everyone's hopes up and reinvigorate the community by launching a remaster. People are pumped. Everyone was excited. We got riled up for this shit. We pre-ordered a game in 2018. It's 2020. And after all of these months, this is what they put forward? A game I can't even play? A game that's not competitive in any way? They could have had a little common decency and just rolled over and died. We get it, guys. No one plays these games. We've got our new World of Warcraft patch 19. We got to sell to some people. We got to sell some capes and staffs and whatever the fuck else we do in World of Warcraft. Fuck Warcraft 3. And at least I could have respected it. But this is just, it's just over the line. To get us all excited and give us this. And that's why people are so mad. They're mad because they wanted to relive these moments from their childhood, to get a chance to take a walk down memory lane and remember a company that always made them feel special. But that's not what they're getting today. What they're getting is a total piece of shit that frankly might not even be able to be fixed. And even if it is fixed, so many people will be gone to never take one more look at this, it might not even matter. So Blizzard needs to get their goddamn shit together. And I swear to God, if the next patch fixes one more thing about the Naga, I don't even know what I'm going to do. Warcraft 3 patch 1.32. The female demon hunter now uniquely metamorphosizes into her own model. I can't even fucking do it. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. If you like this video, hit subscribe and join the channel. Also, I'm going to be doing more single topic videos than I was doing before, so we'll be posting a bit less, but we're still going to have a consistent stream of videos here on the channel. I just want a little more time to dive into things. I felt like with the news videos, I wasn't getting that. So just stay tuned. We're going to be changing stuff a lot on the channel. Appreciate you guys for being here, and I'll see you again soon.